and you know what? I inject crystal meth every day for the past 5 years, and it's a terrible demon. And once you put that poison in your arm,
Sir, what's your name?
I'm James Dean.
James Dean. Do you know who this is?
No, I don't.
Do you want to tell him who you are?
I'm a counselor with the city of Timmins.
And you want the safe consumption site closed?
Exactly.
What would you say to the city councilor who wants it closed?
The crime's going to go up, the deaths are going to go up, all kind of things are going to happen, and then it's going to be our fault. I think it's going to be the city's fault if they close this, that all the things are going to happen the way they're going to happen.
The tension in Timmins, Ontario is easy to see.
They're shooting up in public now.
Here the overdose death rate per capita is one of the highest in the country. And the city is divided on what to do about it. The fight centers on the city's supervised injection site. This is Timmins City Councillor Bill Gazdanovic. Now he wants the city's supervised injection site closed because he blames it for thefts and violence and open drug use in the laneways downtown.
See, this is the laneway I'm talking about right here.
Right.
And then this down here, another laneway.
And as we're walking, he just goes up to a group of people outside the supervised injection site.
Hi, how are you guys? Good, how are you? Hey, you're doing fantastic. Hey? Yeah, we're just doing it.
We like this place here. We love it.
You like this place?
Yeah.
Why do you like this
Because it
place?
saved my life and it saved my friends' lives.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I OD'd a couple times and it saved my life.
So what do you do? Do you use right inside?
Yes.
Okay.
Right inside it.
Well, what about, you know what I wanted to ask you is what about people that are using down here? Why wouldn't they just go in here?
Because they're full.
Because they're
full.
Yeah, or closed.
Or closed.
There's only 3
Or
booths
closed.
inside. There's only 3 booths inside to use, and some of the people that want to use, they're just impatient, they don't want to wait.
On March 20th, you put a motion forth in City Council basically to close the supervised consumption site. How come you did that?
You don't put a safe injection site in a residential area, okay? You wouldn't want one where you live, okay, where you have people shooting up in laneways, in people's yards. They're shooting up in our public washrooms. And then we as the public are saying, wait a minute, why do we have a safe injection site if we're seeing all this all over the place in the city? How many needles do they give you when you go in there?
Since the supervised injection site opened in July of 2022, they've had about 45,000 visits to the site. What would you say to the city councilor who wants it closed?
3 out of 5 of us will be dead within the next few months.
When this place closed, you're going to see my friends dead out there or me dead. You know?
Yeah, I
Because this place has saved my life.
I understand that, but
A lot of times.
Okay.
We just beg you, please don't close it. Please.
We've all heard about supervised injection sites, but what actually goes on inside one? Patrick Novak is a registered nurse and the site's manager.
I guess this is where it all starts. So typically we would have 2 staff in the front, 2 staff in the back. So what they'll do is they'll say, hey, like if you have a coat or a bag, can you put that in the locker? Recognizing that like having a jacket on can definitely complicate an overdose response because, you know, needles are only so long, right? There's also some times where people might be carrying like weapons or screwdrivers or something like that. So we don't want any of that in the back. We want that locked up safely.
Why does it matter what you do here?
We save lives so people can live another day. You know, we have 40 to 50 overdoses a month, each one of those being a potential death.
Novak tells me when a person survives an overdose, they can be referred to treatment. They've had more than 400 overdoses here since they opened. Have you dealt with overdoses yourself?
Yep, here.
Like many or several or?
Yeah, a lot. Well, it's almost routine at this point.
There's people who want this place closed.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
This is a response to a public health need, which is the overdose crisis, right? But closing a site like this, it would just divest the use to other areas in the community. The substance use issue isn't going to disappear with the closure of a supervised consumption site.
One of the challenges of supervised injection sites is they tend to concentrate drug use in the area around them. And where there's drug use, there are needles. And needles are a good example of how far apart the two sides are in this debate.
That's one of the things that the public is upset about is if you were to go in there and ask for 100 needles, they're going to give you 100? Go get 100 needles. Yeah. For somebody that uses, so I understand this, how many needles would you need per day?
Me? I probably go through about 10 or 15 a day.
So you inject 10 or 15 times a day?
Not necessarily, because sometimes the needle gets, the tip of the needle might get bent or dull, so I might have to just switch my shot from one needle to the next needle. So I might not have used that one necessarily, but I might have had to transfer that to the next one. There you go. See? There's 100 needles.
Let's see. Let's see what's in there. That's 100 needles right there.
Last year, the local health unit handed out more than 325,000 needles. They do it so people don't share them and spread disease.
She can go in there and get the 100 needles, right? And then she's got 4 or 5 friends, and she can split that box with her friends too, though, as well.
The thing is, a lot of needles end up on the street, and they can be dangerous. But the neighbors in the area don't just complain about needles. Chris LaMarche owns the building right next door to the supervised injection site.
So this is a wall that we had to build to keep people out from doing drugs under there. We had somebody start a fire here. This used to be one of the best areas of town for commercial offices, and now it's turned into the worst.
When you see people in and around your building and in the alleyway who are doing drugs, what do you think about?
I actually came here last Friday to work on some stuff, and I walked around my building, and there was probably 10 or 15 people doing drugs. There were some people right here doing drugs, and I asked them to leave, and they screamed and yelled, and to a point where I was so frustrated that I knew I had to leave before I did something that I probably shouldn't do.
Chris isn't alone with this frustration. There's a group called the Voices of Timmins, with thousands of followers on Facebook. They want the supervised injection site closed. I met 3 of them, Andy Gagnon, Phoenix Blaine, and Sonia Beeman at her store downtown.
Our city of Timmins used to be known as the Heart of Gold. We have a big heart, Timmins. But now, I'm a grandfather. I wouldn't bring my granddaughter in town. It's terrible.
I don't want to have children and raise them in a city like this. I don't want to be afraid to let them go play in the park and be like, okay, let me check the park first, make sure there's no needles or no garbage.
I'm not comprehending this safe injection site. What are we teaching our children? It's okay to do drugs. Here's a nice facility for you to get as high as you want. Don't worry, we have a Narcan kit that will help you if you overdose. We're enabling the people, I find.
I was an addict.
And then it surprises me when Andy admits his own struggles with substance use.
Okay, so I was an addict for over 35 to 40 years. I quit because I wanted to. I needed to.
Does your personal experience with drug use, does it give you compassion for the crisis we're in right now?
Yeah, 100%. I feel for them. They're dying. They're literally dying, and we're not helping the right way. And that's sad.
You want the site closed because you say it brings violence to the neighborhood. At the site, they say they save lives, many lives. Is there no room for the two sides to come together?
People always say they're saving lives, but are these people really living is the question. Like, I'm not saying, we're not all cold-hearted people. We want these people to have help. But at what cost to the whole community?
They're injecting at the transit station, at the library.
It's hard to see common ground here in Timmins, even in the middle of an overdose crisis.
There's a line up there during the day. People waiting to use us for a booth.
Mervyn Wesley comes to the supervised injection site every day. Are you high right now?
Yeah, I just did a shot there like half an hour ago. But it was good.
Takes the edge off, eh?
Yeah. So I'd probably be looking for my fix later on, like, again. Just that you're just chasing it all the time. You're just chasing it. It gets tiring,
What does this place mean to you then?
I'll be ashamed if it closes, because what if I go years down the street there and alone and there's no one around and I OD and I'll be dead, right?
What's your future? When you look to the future, what do you see?
I'm looking for work right now, so yeah, I'm trying to slowly cut down my drugs, but it's hard, you know?
I spoke to someone who said about people who use drugs in Timmins.
Yeah.
She asked, are they really living? What do you think of that?
I'm not sure. It's awful. The way you said it there. Are we living? Yeah? We're trying.
You trying?
We're trying. You know? Yeah, we're trying.
No matter what you believe about supervised injection sites, Canada's overdose crisis keeps getting worse. And what's going on here in Timmins may help us understand whether they have a future in the country.